Welcome back to my channel, the Coin Spot. Today's best top 3 coins. 1. You want to miss? We're diving into the world of United States coins. Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. Top 1. The 1967 Elizabeth II half-penny coin. Covering its full history, design, specifications, cultural context, and collectability, all in long, thorough paragraphs. As requested, the 1967 Elizabeth II half-penny coin, a complete historical and numismatic insight. The 1967 Elizabeth II half-penny coin is a small, yet historically significant relic from a transformative period in British monetary history. Struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, it was one of the last issues of the halfpenny denomination prior to the decimalisation of the UK currency system in 1971. The year 1967 was particularly notable because it was the final year that halfpennies were officially struck for general circulation, though they continued to be minted in 1970 as part of a collector's proof set. At this time, Britain was preparing for a major overhaul of its currency system, transitioning from the ancient and complex pre-decimal structure of pounds, shillings, and pence to the more simplified decimal system we know today. The 1967 half-penny thus represents both the end of an era and a snapshot of Britain's deep-rooted numismatic traditions. The coin features a striking and elegant obverse front portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was designed by Mary Gillick, a respected sculptor whose depiction of the young queen became iconic throughout the British Commonwealth. Unlike later portraits, the 1967 issue shows a youthful Elizabeth wearing a laurel wreath, a classical symbol of honor and dignity. The inscription surrounding the effigy reads, "Plus Elizabeth Tude Gratia Regina F.D., which stands for Elizabeth. 2. By the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This formal inscription connects the coin to centuries of royal tradition, reinforcing the constitutional and religious foundations of the British monarchy. And the reverse back of the coin is a distinctive and beautifully executed depiction of Sir Francis Drake's famous ship, the Golden Hind, which had long been associated with maritime exploration and British naval glory. The reverse design was created by artist Thomas Humphrey Paget, and the image of the Golden Hind had already become a standard motif for the halfpenny since 1937, during the reign of King George VI. The detailed engraving shows the ship under full sail, symbolizing Britain's proud seafaring heritage. Encircling the image are the words halfpenny above and the date 1967 below, all rendered in capital letters and a serif typeface that adds to the coin's timeless elegance in terms of physical characteristics. The 1967 halfpenny was struck in bronze, a metal alloy composed primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. The coin has a diameter of 25.48 millimeters, weighs 5.67 grams, and has a plain non-retted edge. It was struck at the Royal Mint, which by the late 1960s was producing coins for dozens of countries around the world. The mintage for the 1967 halfpenny was extremely high, with over 146 million coins produced, making it one of the most common British coins of its time. Because of this large circulation, most examples found today are not rare or highly valuable in monetary terms, especially in circulated condition. However, uncirculated and proof despite its modest face value and abundance, the 1967 Elizabeth I halfpenny holds considerable historical and sentimental value. It is emblematic of a generation of Britons who grew up with the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence, a system that had remained virtually unchanged for centuries. When decimalisation occurred in 1971, the halfpenny and many other familiar denominations were phased out or redesigned. This coin serves as a tangible link to the traditions of British coinage, the monarchy, and even schoolyard arithmetic, where generations had to master the complex calculations of 12 pence to a shilling and 20 shillings to a pound. Versions are more desirable among collector in the numismatic market. The 1967 halfpenny remains favored among new collectors and those interested. Its abundance makes it an accessible and affordable entry point into the world of coin collecting. While circulated coins can often be found in antique shops, flea markets, or online marketplaces for a modest price, typically under £1, those in mint condition, particularly proof strikes from the 1970 collector sets, can fetch higher prices depending on quality. Coin dealers and historical memorabilia stores often stock these coins due to their popularity and educational value. They are especially appealing to collectors who aim to complete a set of pre-decimal coins. From the 20th century, or those focusing on the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Overall, the 1967 Elizabeth II halfpenny is more than just a small bronze coin. It is a reflection of Britain's evolving identity in the post-war era. As the country modernized and looked toward the future, the coin remained a pocket-sized reminder of its rich heritage, whether housed in a collector's album, displayed in a classroom, or discovered in an old drawer. The 1967 halfpenny invites curiosity and storytelling. It continues to be appreciated not only for its design and symbolism, but also for the way it encapsulates a moment of transition in British history, a final echo of the imperial age as the nation moved toward the modern era of decimal currency and European integration. Versions are more desirable among collector. Top to the 1965 Elizabeth II halfpenny coin, covering its historical background, its design features, physical specifications, significance, and collectible value, all in richly descriptive paragraphs. As you requested, the 1965 Elizabeth II half-penny coin, a symbol of pre-decimal Britain, the 1965 Elizabeth II halfpenny coin is a historically significant piece of British coinage from the twilight years of the pre-decimal era. This small bronze coin, though seemingly humble in appearance, reflects the values, aesthetics, and economic practices of mid-20th century Britain under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Minted 6 years before the country's shift to decimal currency, the 1965 half-penny stands as a representative of the complex and deeply entrenched LSD system where 12 pence equal to shilling and 20 shillings equal to pound. For everyday people, this coin was a common fixture of life, used in small purchases, children's allowances, bus fares, and more. Today, it is cherished by collectors and historians as a physical link to a bygone era from a design perspective. The coin carries a strong visual identity shaped by tradition, national pride, and artistic elegance. The obverse of the 1965 half-penny features a classical left-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by the British sculptor Mary Gillick. This design, first introduced in 1953 for Elizabeth's coronation, depicts the young queen wearing a laurel wreath rather than a crown, symbolizing peace, virtue, and continuity with ancient Roman traditions. It was a striking departure from the more imperial portrayals of previous monarchs, presenting the queen in a dignified yet approachable way. The Elizabeth II Gratia Regina FD, which is Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This title reflects both her religious role as head of the Church of England and her constitutional position as sovereign. The reverse of the coin is arguably more memorable and artistic, showcasing the famous Golden Hind, the galleon captained by Sir Francis Drake during his circumnavigation of the globe between 1577 and 1580. This reverse design had been introduced in 1937 during the reign of George VI and was carried over unchanged to the reign of Elizabeth II. It was crafted by Thomas Humphrey Paget, one of the most accomplished coin designers of the 20th century. The detailed rendering of the Golden Hind, with its full sails, rigging, and billowing pennants, evokes Britain's rich maritime history, its age of exploration, and its identity as an island nation with global reach. Above the ship is the denomination, halfpenny, and below it the date 1965 in a classic serif font. The imagery and typography are well balanced, conveying both history and pride in terms of physical characteristics. The 1965 halfpenny was struck in bronze, an alloy primarily made of copper with smaller amounts of tin and zinc. This gave the coin its warm, reddish-brown hue. It measures approximately 25.48 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 5.67 grams. The coin has a plain edge with no reading or decorative features along the rim. It was produced by the Royal Mint, which was based at the Tower Hill site in London at the time. The minting quality was high, and the design's clarity and crispness held up well in circulation. With a mintage in the tens of millions, the 1965 issue was not rare during its time. And many examples remain in existence today, often in circulated condition. Though the coin was everyday currency at the time, its historical importance lies in its representation of the economic world before decentralization. In 1965, Britain was on the cusp of major social and political change. The currency system, rooted in medieval traditions, was increasingly seen as outdated and confusing, especially for newer generations and foreign visitors. Decimalization would eventually take place in February 1971, rendering coins like the halfpenny obsolete for everyday use. However, the halfpenny did not disappear overnight. It remained legal tender for a few years after decimalization, although it was rarely used. In fact, bronze halfpennies continued to be minted for collectors until 1970, but the 1965 edition was one of the last mass circulation issues for daily commerce from a numismatic standpoint. The 1965 Elizabeth II halfpenny holds enduring appeal. While its value on the collector's market is relatively modest due to its high mintage and the fact that many examples still exist, it is nonetheless a staple item for those interested in building complete collections of British coinage from the Elizabethan era or the pre-decimal period. Coins in circulated condition typically fetch between 10 pence to 50 pence, while uncirculated or mint condition specimens, especially those housed in original mint sets, can be worth £1 to £3 depending on condition and demand. Collectors often seek out these coins from coin fairs, online auction platforms such as eBay, or specialist sites like the Royal Mint or Chards, antique shops, and numismatic stores across the UK. Many coin dealers still stock these coins as part of their basic British coinage offerings due to their accessibility and nostalgic charm. In educational settings, the 1965 halfpenny is often used as a teaching tool to help younger generations understand the complexities of Britain's old currency system. Its tangible presence helps bridge the gap between history and memory, offering insights into how even small denominations played a vital role in everyday transactions and cultural identity. For older generations, holding one of these coins can be a sentimental experience, evoking memories of childhood pocket money, early jobs, or the days before decimalization changed the familiar rhythms of counting and calculation. In conclusion, the 1965 Elizabeth II halfpenny is far more than a forgotten coin from a bygone era. It is a rich symbol of post-war Britain, a time when tradition and modernity coexisted side by side. The coin embodies the strength of royal iconography, the pride in maritime heritage, and the intricacies of a centuries-old currency system nearing its end. Though no longer in use today, the 1965 halfpenny continues to resonate through the collections of enthusiasts, the hands of educators, and the memories of all who lived during its time in circulation. Top 3. The 1955 Elizabeth II halfpenny coin, including its historical context. 8. Design details, minting, and collector's value. Historical background and context. The 1955 Elizabeth II halfpenny holds a unique place in British numismatic history. One of the first coins minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Her ascension to the throne in 1952, following the death of her father, King George VI, marked the beginning of a new era, not just for Britain, but also for the entire Commonwealth. Coins bearing her image began appearing in circulation in 1953, and the halfpenny 1/2D was among the denominations reissued with the young Queen's portrait. By 1955, the halfpenny was still an essential part of British currency, used in everyday small purchases such as newspapers, candies, and bus fares. The halfpenny was part of the pre-decimal coinage system in the United Kingdom, where the pound was divided into 240 pence, 12 pence in a shilling, 20 shillings in a pound. Although it seems minuscule today, the halfpenny had real spending power in the mid-20th century. Its production was crucial for maintaining the monetary balance in lower denominations. Design features the obverse front of the 1955 Elizabeth. The halfpenny features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Mary Gillick, which was used on UK coins from 1953 to 1967. This youthful portrait shows the Queen facing right, wearing a laurel wreath rather than a crown, a classical touch that symbolizes peace and dignity. Around the edge of the coin is the LICABTH 2 Dei Gratia Regina F. To this stands for Elizabeth. 2. By the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith. A traditional title for monarchs of the United Kingdom, the reverse back of the coin showcases the iconic Golden Hind. The famous galleon captained by Sir Francis Drake during his circumnavigation of the globe between 1577 and 1580. The image of the Golden Hind had been used on halfpennies since 1937. Under George VI, and continued through the early years of Elizabeth II's reign, it symbolizes maritime heritage, exploration, and Britain's naval history. Below the ship is the word halfpenny, and the date 1955 appears at the bottom specifications. And minting composition: bronze typically 97% copper 5% zinc, 0.5% tin weight, approximately 5.67 grams diameter, around 25.48 a medj, plain smooth mint, royal mint. United Kingdom mintage, approximately 34,188,000. Coins were struck in 1955. These figures reflect the coin's wide circulation, although high mintages don't necessarily mean high survival rates in pristine condition. Most surviving examples were well used in circulation collector value and condition grades, though. Value of a 1955 Elizabeth II halfpenny depends largely on its condition or grade. Coins are generally graded from poor P to uncirculated UNC. Intermediate levels, such as fine F, very fine VF, extremely fine F, and about uncirculated O in circulated condition. A 1955 halfpenny is quite common and might be worth between £0, 10 and £1 depending on we're in uncirculated or near mint condition, especially if it still has its original mint luster. This might be valued between £2 and £10, and sometimes slightly more if its slabbed and certified proof versions were. Not officially released in 1955, making circulation strikes the only available format for collectors often seek these coins to complete sets of pre-decimal British coinage, particularly for the reign of Elizabeth II. While not especially rare, they are treasured for their historical value and nostalgic importance, cultural and historical significance. Though the halfpenny was demonetized and ceased to be legal tender in the UK after August 1, 1969, coins like the 1955 Elizabeth II halfpenny are important relics of Britain's economic and imperial history. They reflect a time when the UK was still adjusting post-World War II, transitioning through industrial change, and entering the Elizabethan modern age. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.